Alright, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about the number e. And this is a number that we're going to need to work with a little bit in Algebra 2. We'll work with it a little bit more in pre-calculus next year, and then we're going to work with it a lot in calculus the year after that. Okay, and really, I'd say the most important thing, what I'm going to put in number 1, is that e is just this number that's between 2 and 3. 2.718281883, and it keeps going. There's not any good decimal expansion, or pardon me, yeah, we can't write it as a rational number. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so there's lots of definitions of e, lots of places where it comes up, and ways that we could kind of interpret that as the meaning of it. It's 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 over 1 times 2, and 1 over, keep adding 1 over n factorial. I'm not sure if you've heard of factorial, but that's, like 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, that's 5 factorial. E is also the limit as x approaches 0 of 1 plus x to the 1 over x power. So that's, take a really small number like 0.001 or something and plug it into your calculator. Do 1 plus 0.001 to the 1 over 0.001, and you'll see you're getting kind of closer to 2.718. The smaller you make x. Okay. Oh, in the finance situation, an account that starts off with $1 and pays 100% interest per year, depending on how many times it's, compounded, will, get you slightly more money. And if it was compounded once, you'd only get $2. If it was compounded continuously, you'd end up with $80. And then another thing, the thing about the slope equaling the y-coordinate, let me bring in a calculator. Alright, so I go into y equals, and yeah, you probably need to be shown where the e to the x key is. It's over here above ln, and we'll talk about ln, in the next lesson. But e to the x is right there, so e to the, and then we'll type in x. Then we're going to zoom to the standard window and look, and it's like, okay, that pretty much looks like every other exponential curve we've seen so far. But what I'm trying to point out to you is that the slope of the graph is equal to the y-coordinate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate, that's really where all the good stuff is. We're going to do a little bit of calculus using the calculator. Okay, dy dx, option 6. This is telling us what the slope is at a given point. Okay, and we've talked about this a little bit in this class when we were talking about increasing and decreasing. If you zoom in really close on this function, it would look like a line. And this slope, dy dx, it's giving you the slope of that line. Okay, so I'm going to say dy dx at x equals, let's do x equals 2. Okay, so at x equals 2, the y-coordinate is 7.3890561. Okay, this is round-off error. Okay, I don't know, maybe I should use Desmos or something. But we calculated the slope at this point, and we see that the 7.389 is the same over there. 7.38905 and something bigger than 5. But then I could also do the same thing at the slope at -1. And that's, yeah, okay, 0.367. We're seeing the same slope as the y-coordinate. And if I did it one more time over at that y-intercept, at x equals 0, dy dx is equal to 1, and y is equal to 1. Again, we're seeing that little bit of round off because of how it computes dy dx. What it does is it just it plugs in x equals, I think, 0.0001 and x equals -0001, kind of two numbers on either side, and just does a little bit of rise over run computation on that. And there can be a little bit of error there. All right, and then the last meaning for e would be, it's how far you have to count area under the graph of y equals 1 over x to get exactly 1 unit of area. But that's a very calculus definition of e. And we haven't even really talked about the graph of 1 over x in this class yet, but we will, and so I figured I'd just show you all the things that a person could potentially understand with Algebra 2 knowledge. Okay, now, the most important things for you to remember about e. E is between 2 and 3, right? E is bigger than 2, and e is less than 3. Like I put up there, e is 2.718281883. Okay, we don't need to know the decimals. We don't even need to know that it's 2.7. We just need to know it's between 2 and 3. And because it's 2 and 3, or because it's between 2 and 3, that means that e is just some real number, right? Just some real number like 2.5, or the square root of 6 or something. And therefore, if it's just a number, then it's nothing to be scared of, right? That's all I have to tell you about e. I think I already showed you the graph of y equals e to the x. But in case you forgot, here's a reminder. Here's the graph of y equals e to the x. Here's the graph of y equals e to the negative x. They represent exponential growth and exponential decay, respectively. That's all I've got for you in this video. Thanks for watching.